So what are the domains and ranges of inverse trigonometric functions? So if you take the inverse trigonometric function sine inverse x, what is the domain of this function and what is the range of this function? So if you look at the trigonometric functions like sine x or something, so if you take y is equal to sine x, this is trigonometric function. It takes in the values of x, which are angles. That is, inside, if you take sin x as a machine, it takes in the values of angles and it gives you the values of trigonometric ratios. It takes in angles and gives out the values of trigonometric ratios. That is, it gives out some numbers. So if you put pi by 2 within the function sine, it gives out the value of 1. Sine pi by 2 is 1. So sine x trigonometric function takes in angles, gives out numbers. So these inverse functions takes in numbers and gives out angles. So what is the domain of sine inverse x? It takes in numbers between minus 1 and plus 1, and the range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So you got this from the restricted domain and range of the original function. So what is the restricted domain and range of sin x over which inverse is defined? Domain is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Range is minus 1 to 1. So for the inverse function, domain and range gets reversed. Similarly, cos inverse x also takes in numbers between minus 1 and plus 1 and gives out angles between 0 to pi. Tan inverse x takes any number in the real numbers and gives out values from open minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Cot inverse x takes in any real number, and gives out angles between open 0 to pi. Cosecant inverse and secant inverse takes in values from minus infinity to minus 1, union 1 to infinity, and gives out values between closed minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 except the angle 0. Angle 0 does not occur in the range of cosecant inverse x. This whatever number you put here, it will never give you 0 as the answer. Similarly, secant has a domain of minus infinity to minus 1, union 1 to infinity, and the range of 0 to pi except pi by 2. So these domains and ranges have to be carefully remembered. So the trick to remember is you have 3 of them whose ranges are related to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and 3 of them whose ranges are related to 0 to pi. So sine inverse, tan inverse, and cosecant inverse. These ranges are related to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. One is closed minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. One is open minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. One is closed minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 except 0. Similarly, cos inverse x, cot inverse x, and secant inverse x. These 3 have ranges related to 0 to pi. So I hope you can remember this. Sine inverse, tan inverse, cosecant inverse. These 3 are more related to sine, because all of them, tan inverse is sine by cos. Sine is more prominent in tan. Cosecant is 1 by sine. It is related to sine. So sine, tan inverse, and cosecant inverse have ranges related to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. The remaining 3 have ranges related to 0 to pi. So once you understand this, now you need to understand how to find the inverse functional values for some certain values of x. So let us do that with help of examples.